Hello everyone. This is a very short video, a reminder about how to write stories, the basics of writing a story. First of all, we have to remember that when we are writing, there are two kinds of writing. The first kind is fiction, and that's really what this discussion is mostly about. Fiction is writing about something make-believe or something that isn't true. It doesn't necessarily have to deal with magic or unicorns or dragons or spaceships. It could just be a made-up story, a fantasy about real life even. But it's not true. It's just written to entertain. Now, of course, nonfiction writing can be entertaining too, because we like to be informed. But these are not in story format. Namely, nonfiction, an example might be the history of England. Or maybe it's your science textbook. Okay? Nonfiction is about something that's true, that's factual. Okay? Both of these do have something in common, namely the basic structure of there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. Okay, and usually for a story, you begin by describing where it's happening, the characters or the people involved, and it revolves around some sort of problem or an event that's being explained. And again, so fiction is not true, it's make-believe, and nonfiction is like a report about facts. It's about telling you something that's true. You could also probably include books that have a particular point of view or an opinion about things. Okay, now moving on. There we go. Then, of course, when you're writing a story, it also depends on the point of view. The point of view is who is telling the story. Now, when you speak, we call this first person. So you use pronouns like I and me while you're telling the story. When someone is talking to you, it's being told in second person. And that will be used in, normally second person writing involves giving directions, right? But after all, it's sort of like me speaking to you right now. Talking to you is second person. And so a story would use pronouns like you. Of course, it might also use pronouns about other people. But if it keeps on saying you, it's in second person. Finally, I like to call this point of view the gossip point of view. It's the third person point of view, where a story is being spoken about others. And the narrator doesn't use I or me pronouns. It doesn't even use you pronouns. Instead, it's simply using third person pronouns like he or she or it, they or them, or possessive ones like his or hers. So first person is when you are telling the story and you're identifying yourself in the story writing as the person speaking, I and me. If it's a story directed to an audience, and they use the pronoun you, it's second person. And when the writing the story is about other people and it only mentions other people, their names, they'll use third person pronouns like he, she, it, they, them, and it's about other people. That's why I like to call it the gossip story. Finally, there's the issue of chronological order. Now, this chronological, that's about the study of time, right? So a story only works if it has a beginning, middle, and end. And that in itself implies time, okay? And chronological order means that it happens through logical time, a sequence. Something happens first, then the next thing happens, then a third thing, fourth thing, sixth thing, 17, 20,000 things later. It's all in a specific order. One event usually leads or causes the next event, but not always. So when we look at this cute little picture here, it's about kids getting into a food fight while mom is cleaning up the dishes. They're making a huge mess. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not a food fight. Look, it's an art lesson. Mom is at the sink cleaning up lunch, and they start painting each other's faces, and it gets out of hand to a point where it ends where the sister, it looks like, pours the cup of probably water paints all over her brother. So there's a clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that story has a specific order. And the stories that make the most sense follow a specific order. You can do things like flashbacks where, at one point in your storytelling, you flash back to a previous event that you haven't mentioned before to explain what you're about to explain. But that can get a little complicated. Keep life simple. Just start at the beginning, get through in the same order things happen, and let it end. And that is the very, very basic way of how to write a story.